Huawei just claimed they've achieved 1.4 nms class performance without a single advanced EUV lithography machine. The markets reacted instantly, pulling $35 billion in capital into the semiconductor sector in a single day. Investors are celebrating a technological miracle, but the reality? It's far more ironic. For years, the global chip industry has operated under the iron rule of Moore's law: shrink the lithography or lose the race. When sanctions locked the doors to the world's most advanced machines, the assumption was that Huawei would be forced out of the game. But they didn't exit. They changed the playing field. They introduced logic folding and the Tau law, architectural workarounds designed to pack more transistors into the same physical space by stacking circuits vertically. It sounds revolutionary. But if you strip away the branding, what you have is a system built on desperation. In the industry, 3D stacking isn't new. Intel, TSMC, and AMD are all doing it. But there is a fundamental difference. They are stacking 1.4 nm class transistors. Huawei is stacking significantly older, larger transistors and calling the result equivalent to the next generation. It is the equivalent of taking a decade-old engine, disassembling it, stacking the parts on top of each other, and claiming you have built a Ferrari. It might move fast, but it is an engineering nightmare. The physics of this approach is brutal. When you stack logic cores vertically, you concentrate heat in a way that standard thermal solutions cannot manage. You aren't just building a chip, you're managing a furnace. To make this work, you have to invest billions in proprietary microfluidic cooling and software-defined traffic management, costs that traditional manufacturers simply don't have to bear. So, why go through this impossible effort? It is not because this is the most efficient path forward. It is because it is the only path they have left. The strategy is clear: define new rules, coin a new law, and project a roadmap all the way to 2031. This is a masterclass in strategic signaling. It gives their domestic supply chain a reason to stay, it gives investors a reason to pump the stock, and it gives the global market a narrative of defiance. The capital markets are currently hallucinating. They see the stock price and assume the technology is winning, but they are ignoring the underlying cost of maintaining this folded ecosystem. When you spend 10 times the resources to achieve what others can do with a standard machine, you haven't broken the blockade. You have just built a more expensive, more complex cage. The irony is that while the market is cheering for a new era of independent chips, the industry is already moving toward a future where efficiency and yield dictate the winners. Huawei has succeeded in building a parallel path. But whether that path leads to a global technological revolution, or simply a collapse under the weight of its own complexity, is a story the markets haven't realized yet. Stay objective. Understand the metrics behind the hype. Subscribe for the reality behind the narrative.